Did you have a question?
Yes, you have.
You know,
Do you normally put them, you normally included so much the letters in your concerts, or
the Lettermans? You mean the Berrymans?
It depends on the crowd, sure. If they're smart and politically aware, yeah. Well, usually that's the kind of audience we perform to. So,
Well,
the answer is yes.
yeah, we love the Berrymans very dearly. We've known them for, 15 years? No, more than that. We've been singing for 15 years. We've known them for about 19 years. And we've actually got a whole playlist on YouTube of the Lehrmans sing the Berrymans. There are about, there's a baker's dozen of them on there. And we keep wanting to do more. We were thinking of talking at the same time, but we decided we were already doing that in the Russian scenes.
Oh, cute, very cute.
Right. And I mean, there are any number of other songs that we have done and we love to do, and we love to do. And this is the first, but we've known them this long, and we've heard them sing, and they've heard us sing on YouTube. I think this is the first time you've heard us sing your songs live. Isn't that true?
I don't think so, but no, I've heard you sing it before, but I can't remember when.
Well, we were here 15 years ago.
Right.
And did we do any of your songs then? I don't.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course
Maybe
we
we
did.
did, yeah.
And I remember Lou saying to me that I did them so dramatically. Very dramatic.
And you said, and with hand motions, yeah. That's one advantage we have over them, because Lou's busy playing the accordion.
Right.
And you, I hope that Lou wasn't here, but I hope you should forgive the change. You sing about accordions in hell, and I sang sopranos in hell.
Yeah, right. I think that's a lovely lyrics.
That's all right.
Lovely lyrics. Where are we?
Yeah, but no, we really love the Burns. And when they stopped touring, we saw them on Peter's 70th birthday in New York.
You did.
They said, "This is our final tour." We said, "Oh, what? Oh, no. Well, we just have to come to Madison to see you." So that's what we did.
Honey, if you move back about 2 feet, your head won't be cut off. Thank you.
That's nice. I don't like my head back at all. Thank you. Are there, yes, please.
Thanks. Yeah, I was going to ask about Emma Goldman. What
Yeah.
was her story after she came back to the U.S.? I didn't realize that she had done that.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. Okay. Emma Goldman came to the U.S. In 1880. She left Russia in 1886. She arrived in 1887, and she was radicalized by the Haymarket riot in November 11, 1870. We called her rebirth, and she felt that she could do something here, and she did. And then she was deported with all those people in Beaufort, December 21st, 1919. And she, our musical is actually about her trying to get back. And she did get back, but only for 90 days. Well, she came back from February to April, first April 30th, 1934. And Francis Perkins, who was the Secretary of Labor, was almost impeached as a result. And Mrs. Roosevelt came to her defense and said, "Emma Goldman is an old woman, she's 64. And she's come to give lectures on drama and promote her new book. I think the country will survive." But after those 90 days, she was never allowed back again, although she tried to come back. She was in exile. She was in France. She was in Toronto. There's a project, now we just met some people yesterday, two universities of Toronto, project to reconnect with the communities of people that knew her. And we knew some people. We were in Toronto in 1993. We interviewed the man in whose arms she died, the woman that helped her and went out to concerts with her brother when she was too busy. I mean, we interviewed these people. It's all on YouTube now, as of this week. She was buried in Waldheim Cemetery in Chicago.
Somebody had a question about how she got to actually be in that cemetery.
Yeah,
Remember who-
that was not easy. I mean, there was a committee to bring Emma Goldman back to America. It was, the secretary was a woman named Mabel Carver Crouch from Stony Creek, Connecticut. And that's all we know about her. We went to Stony Creek, Connecticut to try to find out. Nobody ever heard of her. The place she lived is gone. Nothing. But the chairman of that committee to bring Emma back to America said that she was the most dynamic speaker he had ever heard, and he inspired her to found the American Civil Liberties Union. That was Roger Baldwin. And
She inspired him.
and she inspired him, yeah. And he was chairman of that committee, and he did bring her back in '34. And he tried, as did many other people, John A. Haynes Holmes, John Dewey, Eugene O'Neill, Norman Thomas, A.J. Mustang, all these people that were trying to get her back again. They succeeded only that once. When I was researching this, I first learned about Emma Goldman actually through Howard Zinn's play in the early 1980s. And I was living in Berlin at the time, and I felt that I was in exile the way she had been, and I wanted to get back to America myself. And so I went to the International Institute of Social History in Amsterdam and found her letters about trying to get back to America, and decided to write the musical about that. So it's a visa application with different things about her marriage and her name and her nationality. She did live in Toronto, and the last thing that she did in Toronto was she saved the life of the man in whose arms she died, and he told us this a year before he died in his early mid-90s. She saved him from being deported back to fascist Italy. He was an anarchist, anti-fascist, and was in danger of deportation from Canada. And she organized a committee to save him. There's also a book by David Porter, which copies were distributed just yesterday at the convocation. There were about 100 people there at the University of Michigan convocation on the 150th birthday of the home. And David Porter's book is about her adventures in Spain. She became the mother of the Spanish exiles. She went to Spain and witnessed the strife in the Civil War, witnessed how the anarchists had taken over and ran Barcelona with in the first successful anarchist government, and then were crushed, mostly by Franco, but the communists also.
Yes.
And she was right in the middle there, she became very anti-Soviet toward the end of her life. So we have a very dear friend from East Berlin who's touring right now. He was here in Madison 3 weeks ago.
Oh, the one that defected Easter?
Yes.
Yes, I was there.
Wait, what's your name?
Mike Goodman.
Mike Whitman. Well, we're having dinner with him on Sunday. Victor Grossman, or also known as Steve Wexler, he's flying back to New York. We're taking him to Kennedy and flying back to Berlin from New York on Sunday. And in his book, he mentions Emma Goldman, just barely. Mentions that she and Alexander Bergman tried to assassinate Frick in the 1892 Homestead strike, and that it hurt the strike more than it helped it. And that's about all he mentions her, because she became very anti-communist.
That's right.
And unlike Rosa Luxemburg, who is a saint, and that was very much the same politics as she did, freedom from fear, freedom of speech, freedom from war, and she criticized Lenin too, but she died in January 15, 1919. She was murdered, Rosa Luxemburg. And Lenin took her criticism and talked about her as an eagle, soaring over. She became, in death, she became a sainted martyr. Whereas Emma Goldman had, argued with Lenin, remained alive, remained critical, and became persona non grata. So she's a very tough cookie, and some of her friends were anti-communists, unfortunately.
What was interesting in the symposium yesterday was somebody did a presentation about the people who were on the Buford along with Goldman and Berkman, and what happened to them in Russia. A few of them went over to the communist side and kind of helped the revolutionary people, but then they were purged. They were purged.
Goldman and Berkman were the only ones
that
went over on the Buford and got out.
She got out just in time.
Probably because they were so famous.
They were the only. We didn't know this until yesterday.
Well, she got out just in time because the purges began around 1934.
No, she got out before that. She left in 21.
21. Yeah, after
My mother left Russia in 35, at the age of 12, and she wanted to go back. And she also wondered, as Emma does in her play, what if I could try this? And unfortunately, we know that if they tried to stay, they probably would have come to the board.
We probably have time for one more question.
Okay.
If we want to have time to talk to you afterward and get some CDs.
Thank you,
So
Joe.
maybe time for one
Make
more.
one more
then
question.
we'll
Make it a good one.
final thing.
Steve? This man's father and my father were comrades in arms, in the Young Communist League at Harvard. We're red diaper babies.
Fathers, fathers.
Our father, yeah. So
Well, we grew up in France.
He grew up in what?
he grew up in France,
Oh.
and he was also a relative of James Joyce, as I recall.
Long ago, but not by blood.
But no, by marriage, yeah. No, your father's a fascinating man. I remember.
So, tell me a little bit about your early influences when you were going to Harvard. Your father went to Harvard, you went to Harvard. Did you ever meet the mathematician who is a sort of
Lehrer.
TomLehrer.
Oh, and he's got more stories.
We were
about
thinking of including TomLehrer on this concert, but we had enough material. You know, Tom Paxton said that he spent the first 30 years of his life trying to be as funny as TomLehrer, and the rest trying to be as funny as the Berrymans, right? No, TomLehrer, yes, I met TomLehrer. I decided I wanted to meet him. I called him. I looked him up in the Cambridge phone book. He was listed right above me, Lehrer.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I called him up and I said, I'd really like to meet you. He said, come on over. I bicycled over, 7 in the evening, and I didn't get home until 3 in the morning. It was amazing. Oh, did that song Carried Away? He used to perform that with a girlfriend, not a girlfriend, but a female friend. He asked me if I could get him the music for it, because he did that with my ear, with reach you. So I did. I got it for him by getting granted aid at Harvard to ask for a perusal score, and promise not to copy, and of course I copied. That's the music that we still use. It's hard to read. Tom, when I met TomLehrer, I said to him, I know just about all your songs by heart. He said, your friends must hate you.
We visited him in California 25 years ago, and Leonard asked him about a discrepancy between what he heard on the
recording and what was in the song, but it was
That's
by
right.
somebody else. And he said, let's look at the oar text. He put on the recording.
Put on the recording.
That's one of my favorite stories. Now, listen, do I have time for a 1-minute song by TomLehrer? This is a song that you probably, well, maybe have you ever heard his song about the Jewish holidays? Nah. Well, this is a song. This is a song that's in answer to the question, and how are you spending the Jewish holidays? Well, I am spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica. Wearing sandals, lighting candles by the sea. I spent Shavuos in East St. Louis. Charming spot, but really not the spot for me. Those eastern winters, I can't endure them. So every year I pack my gear and come out here to Purim. Rosh Hashanah, I spend in Arizona. And Yom Kippur, way down in Mississippi. But in December, it was just a place for me. The California flora, I'd be fighting with my menorah. Here's to Judas Maccabeus, boy, if he could only see us. Spending Hanukkah in Santa Monica by the sea. I sang that for a synagogue, and a lady came up to me and said, I have a 5-year-old grandson, and he sings all the time, and he's learning the Jewish holidays. Can I have a copy of that song? I said, well, yeah, but it doesn't have all the Jewish holidays. It's all domestic, so I thought, when I hear cavilling, well, limit all your traveling. Have a Pesach and your face off, go away. Simchas Torah in Bora Bora. Shmini Atzeret, spend in Paris or Calais or Mandalay. A travel agent can surely book us to Angkor Wat for Tu B'Shvat, and then but not for Sukkot, like Samoa for Yom HaShoah. Nowhere for Lag BaOmer, Yerushalayim for Yom HaAtzmaut. The cantor will be sure to kick us if we fail to mention Slickers. You can try Somalia for fasting at Gedalia, though if you love the fish, you love the fish, you love it, teach you love good yadam, so make it good. So I sent that to TomLehrer, and he sent me a congratulatory note. He said I was always thinking of expanding that to, Simchas Torah, and Bora Bora, or Sodom and Gomorrah. Your Pesach line is a bit of a stretch, but all I could think of was, I always get my ass over to Tel Aviv for Passover, and then I would pick a family song. That was it.
Thank you.
So on that note, thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming.
The piano CD just got a lovely review somewhere, so come and catch your copy. Beautiful music.